So,
Hello.
oh, there he is. There's Connor. Can you guys hear Connor? What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Pretty good. I'm doing pretty well. Um,
Hey, it worked. Woohoo.
can you guys hear Connor on the stream? I think they can. I'm just making sure.
All right. This is pretty easy on the phone, actually.
Yeah, I probably should have just told you to use the phone from the start, honestly. But I'm glad it's worked out regardless. So downloading your video right now to play, and we can talk about that.
All right.
Um,
I'm pulling up the stream right now on YouTube
Sweet.
just to watch it.
So, so how have you been doing lately, man? I feel like we don't get to talk that much, but so you have a new yo-yo
Yeah.
sponsor. That's pretty cool. You gonna talk about that maybe? Mini interview?
Yep, for sure. The about the video?
Anything really. You can do a little
Well, about yo-yoing, yeah, wait real quick, let me sign into YouTube.
for sure.
But I yo-yo has been kind of up and down for me, no pun intended, recently. So after Illinois State, so I had a really busy year in 2017. Like obviously in 2016 it was also busy. I mean, I competed decently well that year, made it to finals at Worlds.
Mhm.
I was grinding a lot of practice that year, and then I took a little bit of a break during the winter time. And it seems like there's a pattern with uh, yo-yo competitors just to kind of chill and take a break during the winter, and
Yeah,
then practice a lot more for the rest of the year. I've noticed that, and that's very especially true for me this past winter. So like I practiced quite a bit in 2017 for Midwest regionals and Worlds,
Mhm.
and then after Worlds I kind of actually like after I stepped off stage at Worlds finals I didn't even throw a yo-yo
Yeah,
for
I
like a
don't.
few days.
It's exhausting, honestly. It really consumes you when that's all that's on your mind. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of a weird experience. So
Yeah.
that was happening, and obviously Illinois State was around the corner, and that's like it's not like a super serious contest for me, but I still wanted to win, and so I
Mhm.
kind of gutted out more practice time just to make a cool freestyle. And instead of making like a super tech heavy freestyle, I wanted to do something fun with a song that I liked,
For sure.
and I ended up not winning, but I had fun with it and whatever. But after that contest, I really stopped practicing like competitive tricks, and I really did feel a bit exhausted, as you said, just from just competitive yo-yoing in general. And I spent a good amount of time just enjoying yo-yo for what it is and just playing with it as a toy instead of anything else. And I even for example, I bought myself like a good fixed axle yo-yo from Timber,
Oh,
and
awesome.
I played around with that, and like that was a ton of fun. And I even practiced a lot of 3A. I don't know if I told you that, but
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
yeah, yeah. In like January, February, I was playing a ton of 3A, and that was a lot of fun. And so I kind of wasn't, yeah, I kind of wasn't like focusing on like competitive 1A for quite a while, and I just enjoyed yo-yo. And then, like, obviously when nationals was announced in Chicago, I was like, oh man, I was like really excited for that because
Yeah, for sure. Your
the
hometown.
venue, yeah, for sure, the venue's like an hour drive from me, so I'm like super pumped about that. And so
Yeah.
yeah, when that was announced, I was like texting Kieran like I don't know back in like October or something, and he told me it's probably in Chicago, and I really kind of freaked out. So really excited for that, and so it was a huge, just like from that moment, just a big dream for me to just like do my very best at nationals, and like it's a bit ambitious to try to do like an amazing job at Worlds, for example. Let's say you haven't won a state contest or you haven't won a regional contest, and just expect to do like phenomenally at Worlds, for example.
Right.
I mean, I had a state title and I had a regional title, and I always wanted to do super well at Worlds, but I knew my next step for progression for me as a competitive yo-yoer was to do as best as I could at a national stage, right?
Mhm.
And because I've never actually placed very well at massive contests before. Like being a finalist is a big deal and it's really cool. And like 15th at World's Finals 2016, and then 18th in Iceland it's an accomplishment in itself to be a finalist, but 18th, 15th, 13th at nationals, 15th at nationals, these are all placements that are, it's a good accomplishment, but I really wanted to do more, you know, and try to
Yeah,
place
for
higher.
sure.
And so, yeah, and so I've never actually done that for a 3 minute before. I've never really done well for 3 minute. Like 2 minutes kind of been my thing for a while.
Okay.
And so what I've been doing coming out of the winter and getting back into practicing is really trying to get really good for 3 minute routines. And so I've had for like 2 years, I've had a strong, like a strong 2 minute, like, oh, it's hard to talk because I keep hearing myself echo.
Oh, okay. I'll turn down my yeah, I'll turn down my volume. Sorry about that.
No,
Feel free to continue if you want.
So yeah, I had a strong 2 minute formula, but I really need to get into making good 3 minutes. It's like a whole different world, honestly. I mean, yeah. So basically, I started starting to get into the zone, starting to practice more, and I'm really excited for my Midwest Regionals and Nationals freestyle. It's actually the exact same freestyle. I have my 3 minute Nats freestyle, and it cuts pretty well at the 2 minute mark.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's what I'll be doing for Midwest Regionals. So
yeah, smart move.
Yeah, because I think Nationals is 2 weeks after MWR, so
yeah, you might as well combine practice, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, so with the sponsorship thing, I kind of, as you might know, after Illinois State, my like presence in social media in terms of like yo-yo content kind of like fell off a cliff, and like I haven't really uploaded many tricks since then. I uploaded like 1 or 2 good tricks since Illinois State, and like I don't see that as a bad thing necessarily because I still have like a big following and there's still a lot of people that like appreciate my stuff even if I haven't uploaded in like 6 months or something.
Yeah.
It's still nice just to take a step back from media and to just like enjoy yo-yoing because I haven't been watching like a ton of like trick circles or anything for a while.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of my philosophies for making good tricks is
like isolating,
yeah, because like for example, like Takeshi, for example, he has like no presence on social media. Like he did a little bit at times, but like not really. Like if you think of the most innovative players, a lot of them aren't really in touch with media very much.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That doesn't exclude anyone who's highly intact with media like you or anyone else, you know. But
right.
That's just it like to have innovative tricks and to like build your own style. There's different people have different routes for succeeding in that. It's really hard, like especially when people ask me like how can I make good tricks, and I know you hear this all the time on the podcast, like how can I approach making a cool new innovative trick. I mean, it's really different for everyone. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Some people. So yeah, I'm kind of talking myself to circles, but like yeah, that's kind of like what's been on my mind. And so in terms of the sponsorship, obviously I wasn't really on media much, and Throw Revolution was a great supplier, great supporter for helping me with 2017 to support me by giving me some good yo-yos to compete with. But apart from that, like I really want to be careful not to be negative towards them because their yo-yos honestly are great.
Yeah.
Their yo-yos are great. Marcus is great. He's been a great guy, but I mean, the team presence hasn't been like super strong, and I mean like half of the team is like scattered all over the world. I think I have been the only US player to be on the team.
Right.
And like I felt a bit of a disconnection from them, and I mean it's unfortunate, but it was the way it was, and I don't think I ever intended Throw Rev to be like a permanent thing or something that I could do long term, and it was really kind of them to support me with some fantastic yo-yos for 2017. But
I see. I
kind of saw it coming that I kind of wanted to go in a different direction. And I honestly, when I left Throw Rev like a couple months ago, I didn't know what was in store for the future. I had no clue because I just wanted to find a good yo-yo to compete with at Nats. Like I really wanted to find a yo-yo that worked for me. And so I was like considering the Nate Daly's yo-yo, and I was considering the SF Bliss,
right?
A few other top yo-yos, the Cognition 2, a few other top yo-yos right now. And when I left, SF started talking to me, and believe it or not, SF offered me a sponsorship like in 2016, and
Oh, really?
back then I had, yeah, back then I had no idea who they were, and I actually, looking back, I read the DMs, and I actually came across. I think I came across as a little too like, I don't. I mean, my character has changed a bit, but I remember coming across like too good for you guys. Or
Oh,
not,
I see.
not so much like that. But I remember reading my DMs, and I was like, man, I was saying like these are the things I want in the sponsor, this and this and this, and I'm not sure if you guys have what I want or stuff like that. But
Okay.
yeah, I looked back and I regretted that, so I talked to SF for a bit, and yeah, and so they started to get interested in me, and so they basically started inviting me over to their team, and so I like joined their like group text and stuff, and it's really like such a good experience to be a part of a team that actually is kind of like a family in a way, kind of like a good team environment. And yeah, my first sponsor was in 2012 on Yo-Yo Jam, and like that was like second to none, one of the best team experiences
Yeah, for sure. I
definitely that
remember that was always such a close-knit team, I feel like.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it really was. And when I joined Yo-Yo Jam, I mean, the team was starting to decline from then in
Mhm.
2012, but like
Yeah.
I just remember like how organized and how good the communication was, and just like how tightly knit it was. And SF is already reminding me of that from back then. And so SF was great, and they've sent me some great yo-yos, and I'm really blown away actually by how well they play. And I know SF doesn't like to promote their yo-yos as super good. That's kind of something they're always very humble about it, and so
Mhm.
I want to
Yeah.
be that. I want to be that way as well. And it's really great throws, and I knew I had to start. I knew I had to start getting back into like the media stuff, of course, and I knew I had to make like a SF announcement video, and so I really wanted to get that video out as soon as I could, because I've got until like July 1st, which is Nats finals.
Right.
I've got like now until July 1st. I wanted to be able to like get the video out, get the announcement out, and be able to at least upload a few cool tricks, maybe some 4A content, and
Mhm.
get a lot of cool stuff for people to like be hyped for Nats and stuff. So I really wanted to get that vid like made as soon as I could.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
the process of joining SF took like a month, and I really wanted to like hurry it up, but I was being patient. But whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, about a week ago, me and my friends from school just filmed it. They're amateur photographers, but they managed to take some good shots, and yeah, we actually shot it at my barn. So
Oh,
my
that's
dad
sweet. Yeah.
my dad like bought a property like a few years ago, and we've been spending a few summers, like me and my brother-in-law. We've been like working on the farm for every summer, and we've just like tried to build it into a good investment. Like that barn, if you see in the footage, there's like a lot of like really cool stuff in there. We got like our game, like our deer up there, and it's really nice.
Yeah,
Because I
it
hunt with my
looks
dad.
a lot of the shots looked super cool. So I think it's
Yeah,
definitely a cool move to shoot there. Um,
yeah, it was really cool. And
yeah.
so on this live, are you gonna be able to pop the video up
Yep.
on the video or no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can, and we can start that now. I think
yeah,
one last thing. I think the sponsorship thing you mentioned with Throw Evolution in terms of feeling kind of disbanded in a sense from the rest of the team is I think a really good thing to mention. I feel like
yeah,
that's not talked about as much. I feel like because I've definitely felt similar experiences like that. But I think it's a good lesson. This video volume is too loud right now, but let me continue that.
yeah. That's good.
Um, I think it's a good lesson to learn that it's important to have peers on your team that you communicate with often and feel like safe and good about talking to because they're your team. You know, you're promoting the same product as them and whatnot. So I I definitely appreciate you kind of shedding some light on that topic. I think it's super relevant, and I definitely agree.
Yeah, it's especially relevant for most people. Like I can imagine there's some people that when they join a team, they're kind of just into the yo-yos, and there's some like
Right.
super
Yeah.
serious people that don't really care about the team setting. Like I can think of a few, but like for the average Joe, like you want to be on a team where you have friends, where you can grow relationships, have fun, like talk with people, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And the great yo-yos should also just be a perk with that. I feel like the actual team aspect should be the priority above the yo-yos. Actually, is what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. it's all about how you feel, like just mentally being on the team. I think yo-yos are
Yeah.
usually almost always good. I feel like from any sponsor, so it's really important to kind of consider that team dynamic stuff. I agree. This arm trick is
Yeah,
crazy,
for
by
sure.
the way. It's such a
Oh, thanks.
such a long trick. How long did it take you to like complete this? I feel like I'm
Oh, like to
wondering.
hit it on camera?
Well, that and just to create the trick in general. I feel like it's kind of a
Yeah.
culmination of some sort. What do you?
Yeah. Yeah, so like that arm trick, hmm, it's a lot of elements that I have kind of made throughout the years.
Right.
Maybe not plural years, but maybe for about a year or so, I've kind of been like, I really love arm tricks, and there's like so many elements that I've made that I really really enjoy. That I feel like arm tricks have like a huge gap and a huge space of innovation that no one explores, and I feel like me myself, like I've made so many like weird like tech elements like with
Yeah.
like arm tricks. It's like so odd, and I think more people should try to explore innovation for like arm tricks and like making that combo. So if you go back to the combo, we can look at it and maybe
Yeah.
pause a little bit. But like the intro of the arm combo, where I like have it go around my left arm and then I have it fly over my right arm backwards, like that intro. I only made that like a month ago,
I
and it's
see.
just kind of like a that was
Okay.
like a for fun thing that I did. And then I kind of did like two combos in one. That intro was like that was the first part, and then everything else was basically another combo that I made. And so
Sweet.
yeah, that intro. So there's
Yeah,
a
it's
few
gonna.
specific parts of the combo.
I won't be
Yeah,
able.
it'll
I
be.
won't be able to pause it, unfortunately. But we can. I think we could talk
Oh
about it,
really?
and people will get the
So
idea still.
yeah,
Hopefully.
about this tech trick here. This trick right here took probably 6 months to kind of get what I wanted out of it. And something interesting about the way I make my own tricks is I don't usually force any innovation myself. I kind of just let the trick evolve on its own and just keep playing with it.
Mhm.
It's really weird. Like sometimes I could just do the same trick over and over for like a month, and then I'll like find funny new ways to like approach it. Like this is, I would imagine this is definitely not how most people would make tricks, but I don't usually desperately try to make new stuff. I kind of just have fun with it and kind of let the trick evolve on its own.
For sure.
So that's kind of, I think, at the rate at which I make new tricks might be slower than the average good yo-yoer, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think it's worth it at the end of the day. If so, we skipped over the arm part again. What I'm gonna do is just to get a clip of just that trick, and I'll loop that over so you can kind of talk about that specifically if you'd like to.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I when I was filming this video, me and my friends only had about like 3 hours to film, and like that might seem like a lot. I don't know if that's a lot or not, but like I didn't feel like that was enough time,
Mhm.
and I wanted, I really wanted this video to showcase like my skill and its full potential. I wanted it to like be a good depictor of like my best yo-yoing, and when I finished filming, I was like strongly considering filming it again to like
No, like
I don't
really
know.
make it
It's
look better and stuff. Yeah, I don't.
yeah. I mean, I thought the tech combo was good and the arm combo was good, but I felt like everything else was kind of meh. But I think I'm a lot more critical of myself than other people are. That's for sure. And
Yeah.
so when SF when SF and Kieran got the footage to edit it, they liked it. They loved it. The team loved watching it, and so like I was fine with it. And
Yeah.
so this arm combo, this slack right there around the right arm, do you see that?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's I made that quite a while ago, but this last part I made about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I really like the reverse like Sarvanter type thing you did too. Oh wait, I don't know.
It's
It's
like a
still.
foray style.
Yeah. Let me. I don't know why it's playing the rest, but yeah, we can talk about that again too. Um,
Yes.
I really
There's like
appreciated the detail with
yeah,
that.
yeah. And I'm actually going to compete with a lot of that arm stuff this year. There's a few elements that I'm just absolutely not going to use because it's
Yeah.
repetitive or it's too hard or whatever.
Mhm.
And actually, I was talking to Nate Daly, and he said that this horizontal combo would actually score well. I don't think that's true, but
I think it'd
um,
be pretty good. It's in those binds too. I think the binds are very common nowadays. So here's the arm trick again. But yeah.
yeah. So this intro here is one of my favorite parts, right there.
Yeah.
And then this right here, that speed part, I've
Mhm.
worked on that for a while. Like I'm really proud of that part. And then this, yeah, this is wonky. I don't even know how I made
It's super
it.
dense for an arm trick, I feel
Yeah,
like, but it's good for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. The whole like that middle portion of the arm kind of feels like a kind of like a tech combo in a way. It's kind of
Yeah,
odd,
yeah,
but I really like it, and it's taken me a long time to kind of like construct that whole thing, but
yeah. No,
I'm really happy with it.
I feel like it definitely encompasses like pretty much most of the arm elements that people do in their tricks now. So it's definitely a good culmination of everything. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed it. But yeah,
yeah. This last part I'm not competing with, like all of this, but
yeah,
it's still cool.
yeah, for sure. Let's watch this a few more times. Let's see if we have any questions in the chat for you. Um,
I did see one good question about Luke Troutway.
yeah,
Someone was asking,
what is your opinion on Luke Troutwine?
how long has he been yo-yoing? Like 2 years?
I'm not sure, but a pretty short amount of time if I were to guess, maybe.
Yeah, pretty short. Yeah. So about him, he's very skilled. Like
Yeah, I
you
think
can
so
tell
too.
you can tell he has a lot of practice under his belt for only like a couple years of playing, if I'm correct.
Mhm.
I think the number one thing for him to grow as a competitor is just to keep throwing and like kind of grow his own style, because right now he's so for anyone who wants to get into competitive yo-yoing, the smartest thing to do is to observe what everyone else is doing and try to actually be able to discern what works and what doesn't,
Mhm.
and being able to practice those tricks. And that's exactly what Luke does. Like
Yeah.
he's a student. He understands what works, and he searches for advice. He searches like there's not a lot of people out there who. All right, let me rephrase this. There are a lot of people out there who ask for advice, but there's not a lot of people who actually take advice.
Yeah, definitely.
And I've noticed that like if Luke ever like talks to me, he'll ask me about something and I'll give him my advice. And then the next time I watch his freestyle, he takes my advice like exactly as I said.
Yeah,
It works out for him.
it's funny you mentioned that. I also think the whole like asking for advice but not taking it thing is something that's very prevalent. I feel like a lot of yo-yo players have some sort of like um, not necessarily in a bad way, but an ego about their tricks that they kind of just see everything better than other people do, or I guess more in depth.
Yeah,
So it's hard for people to kind of change. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I think that's a pretty interesting point to raise.
yeah, that's probably his best trait, like as a person and as a competitor, is that he really seeks to improve, and he's not afraid to like look for other advice on how to like get better. And
Definitely.
that's gonna help him like huge. And it really seems like he's gonna really flourish if he keeps working.
Yeah, it's
I think
people like him. You know he's skilled. It's just giving him time to really flourish for sure.
Yeah, I think if he's listening, I mean, for Luke to improve, like working on performance, of course. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if like the big hat on his head like is always like the best idea. I remember listening to Scales one time, and you guys were talking about like how wearing a hat might actually just like decrease your showmanship. I don't know, but like
Yeah, I think you can. It's an interesting point to talk about. It's all pretty ambiguous, but I think it's possible. I don't know, but I agree. I think
but yeah,
performance is a challenge that most yo-yoers will like either never get past or like struggle to kind of master. So
yeah, and if a certain level of performance doesn't match your personality per se, then it's kind of difficult, and I can see the
yeah,
struggle there.
hmm
And it's kind of unfortunate that like I mean, if you read the IYYF rules of showmanship, it doesn't say like super smiley, super flamboyant Evan Nagal. Like it doesn't say that. Like
right, yeah,
if you read what showmanship talks about, it's all about like making a presence on stage and acknowledging the audience and actually making the audience a part of your performance.
hmm
Um, there's a lot of ways for like a per se like antisocial person to have good showmanship, I think. But
yeah. I
like
think so too.
not saying that he's antisocial, but that's just what I'm saying.
hmm
And so, if I mean, with all due respect, if we were to talk about a few of Luke's weaknesses, I mean, definitely working on performance would be smart, and then just being able to yo-yo more and just like develop your own style is like the number one thing that he needs. And then from there, he'll definitely start winning contests, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So we have one last question from Tyler Shea. I think we'll close out on this. So he says, what do you think is the current meta in yo-yoing? In other words, what do you think is the most efficient way to play right now? What would you have to say? I know that's pretty,
Trying to find that question.
yeah.
Is it
Uh,
recent?
Oh no, he DM'd it to me. Sorry, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So, what's like the meta like in competitive yo-yoing?
Yeah, I believe so.
Hmm.
I
Well,
think it's a pretty diverse thing. I feel like I don't know if there's one meta.
it's a broad question, but here's what I would say is like people think there's a meta, but there really isn't as strong of a meta as people think there is. So here's here's what happens is people succeed, people win contests, and people use a certain trick set. And when other people want to win contests, typically they will watch someone who wins or someone who's really successful, and they'll say, "I need to replicate what he can do."
Mhm.
And it's really untrue that route is like the only route you can take. And so, for example, if we were to take like Janos Karantz winning worlds, like I know competitive yo-yo was different back then, but like there was a meta then too, and
Yeah.
he did not follow it by any means, and he won the World Yo-Yo contest. And let's talk Zach from Tokyo.
Mhm.
I mean, there was definitely a meta then too, and he did not follow the meta by any means, and he still obviously won by a massive amount, one of the most competitive contests ever.
Definitely.
And so here's the thing, like you need to here's what I've actually focused on. Something that I've learned from competitive yo-yo is you kind of have to like focus on the evals and actually focus kind of like on a non-yo-yoer's opinion of your freestyle. Like if a non-yo-yoer thinks your freestyle is good, then that's a pretty good sign, I would say.
Yeah, I think so
And
too.
like if you something that's really important is making sure your tricks are difficult enough. So there's a lot of elements right now that I've seen a lot of people say like, does this score? Does this score? And
Mhm.
it's really really easy tricks. Like they might think it's in the meta. Like for example, like little tricks where the yo-yo is like bouncing up and down on different strings, and like for example, remember that Yusuke Otsuka element where like you would be in a trapeze and then you would like
Oh,
fly.
the pop combo thing. Is that what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
So, so I mean, that worked then, but stuff like that really doesn't work now. Um, you need to have tricks that have some level of difficulty. So if you read the IYYF rules, it says a click is rewarded to an extreme trick element, and so like I think a judge usually has a keen eye as to what's hard and what's not.
Yeah.
I think that's I think that's one of the reasons why Solaham is often overclicked in 4A is because most judges actually don't understand
Right.
how
They
hard the
they
trick
tend
is.
to they tend to over quantify it with more difficult stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, how many people in the U.S. are good at Solaham? Like not a ton.
Right.
And and so when someone drops Solaham like at a contest, the judges are like, "Oh man, wow, this is insane." And you know,
Yeah.
they might overclick it, and that's kind of the way it is. And so something that's kind of odd is like you have to you have to think out of the box and do tricks that other people don't do. And if you do that, you have a risk of being underclicked and underappreciated, but you also have a risk of being upperclicked, or what am I trying to say, overclicked. And so
Mhm.
my answer might not be very good as to like what specifically is the meta. I mean, you could take two routes. You could follow what people succeed with. Like for example, Nate Daly, I think right now is kind of forming the meta for this year.
I think so too.
Like there's a lot of tricks that he's doing that really are kind of shaping the meta in US yo-yo right now. And like in my Nats freestyle, I have a few tricks that are inspired by him right now. But you could also take the route of just doing your own thing, focusing on tricks that are difficult but that also you are consistent with.
Mhm.
And I mean, you can't just make a new trick set and expect to win your first time.
Right.
You have to evolve your tricks. You have to keep working on your tricks. You have to do a freestyle, fail, ask people why you failed, build off of that, keep practicing. Like it takes about a year, I would say, for you to make your own tricks until you actually start winning, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely
So,
hard. It's definitely hard to answer that question, but I think that's definitely the best way.
yeah,
I think it's two different routes probably. Um,
yeah, for sure.
on that note, there's one more video I wanted to show. So, I'm not sure if everyone has heard about this yet, but unfortunately, as of today, I have found out a yo-yoer. He hasn't really yo-yoed that much recently. But
Yeah.
Robbie Graham recently passed away. Terrible to hear. He was one of my best friends a few years back. I haven't gotten to talk to him in a while, but I was sent in one of his old videos, and I think we should kind of just play it in memory of Robbie.
Yeah.
Very skilled yo-yoer, really sad to hear. But
Really?
yeah,
How old was he, do you think?
early 20s for sure.
Yeah.
It was a very unfortunate cause, from what I can tell. It says that it was from adverse reaction to acetaminophen, which is so rare. Really,
Really?
yeah, I don't know.
Is that a medical drug?
Yeah, it's like Tylenol, pretty much.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, super rare, but yeah, super sad to hear that. But I'm sure Robbie's in a better place now, and that's kind of what we can hope to think about.
Hmm.
Such a skilled yo-yoer, though. Not many people yo-yo with this much
Yeah.
kind of flow and whatnot now. This is from like 2014, I think.
2010?
No, like
Sorry,
like
no.
like 2014 maybe, I think, around then.
Oh, okay.
But
For
yeah.
a second, I was like, wait, that t-shirt didn't exist in 2010. But yeah, he's good.
hmm
Do you know where he lived? Like, what kind of contests he went to?
He was from Kansas. I'm sure you
Oh, yeah?
you probably saw him at like MWR and whatnot. If
Honestly, I've probably
Yeah.
seen him.
yeah,
Was this recent where he passed?
yeah, like I think today or yesterday. I just heard about
Oh,
it a few
really?
hours ago. Yeah.
Wow. This is like, I think, like the second time where I've heard of a young yo-yoer who's passed away.
Yeah, it's always super unfortunate, but I think it always reminds me as well to just really talk to people that you don't get to talk to often. Like I used to talk to Robbie like every day, but he kind of just stopped.
Really?
He kind of just like stopped yo-yoing and faded out, and I just stopped talking to him. But it really just like reminds me, there's a lot of connections that you lose and kind of just forget about, but it's always good to keep those.
Yeah, this is a longish video. It's got a lot of content.
Yeah. Robbie always made super long videos with awesome tricks. I think that was the end of it, actually. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But on that note, I think we're going to end this stream. Thank you, Connor, for tuning in. It was awesome to talk to you. Hopefully we can do it again
thank you for
sometime.
inviting me.
Yeah. And to everyone watching, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Peace out.